Hello. Alright, Justin back for a day 2 update on the rabbit shed. So here's my first day's progress. I got the front wall all torn off, and it was actually 2 front walls. So there was the front facade here, which is just plywood, whatever, and but then underneath that was these, I believe they're cedar, these old siding shingles that were shingled along here. I think the shed, you know, you can see the, I knew that the bottom wall was in there because you can see it on the outsides here, so, or on the inside. Here's the shingled cedar planks, and then on top of that is this plywood that has these board facade on it or whatever. And so I had to get the board facade or the plywood off and try and keep it whole because I'm reusing that on the back wall. And then that was kind of difficult to do, to get it off in whole pieces and not tear it up a bunch. And then the shingled parts I could kind of just tear off, no problem, because I'm not really planning on reusing that much, if at all. I do try and reuse as much materials as possible because reduce, reuse, recycle and all that business, but also I'm cheap, so I like to reuse things as much as I can, or get things from the Habitat for Humanity Restore, where you can get building materials for cheaper. So today what the plan is I am going to, I really want to remove both these upright studs here. This one looks, yeah, this one's kind of cracked and shot anyway. You can see that. It's about to bust. But, so I'll go in with the Sawzall and cut both of these out, because for it to be the rabbit shed, and there's going to be cages hanging in here horizontally, 3 levels of wire cages, I really want the front to be totally open to have easy access to the cages and things. But I also want it to be structurally sound, which, you know, having these supports here holding up the roof, and the roof will be holding up the cages. There'll be eye bolts. There's going to be some eye bolts going through these rafters here, these 2x4s, and then there'll be chains suspended from the eye bolts holding up the cages. So what I'm going to do is, I looked up online like how, when they remodel a house or something, if they want to tear out a wall to create an open floor plan or whatever, they'll you know, sometimes it'll be a load-bearing wall and they can't just knock it out and take out these studs. So what you do is you put another beam across the top, right up against with this one, I guess, and then on the ends you pack in, they call it a stud pack, but you'll put a couple of studs right along there. So you'll create a beam here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two 2x4s, sandwich them together, and then lay it up on its end as a it'll basically be like a 4x4 instead of a 2x4, but it'll be like a 4x4 beam that's going to go underneath this, and then underneath that, going vertically, there will be two studs sandwiched in, right, or like wedged in right underneath that beam. So then this whole structure, all this weight and the cage weight eventually will be on this beam, which will then be supported by these studs, but then also the beam I'll create will be underneath there holding the weight, which will be supported by those other studs. So, oh, and I'm going to put a 45-degree diagonal brace on each upper corner for some extra support. So I really think that should do the job. I hope. I'm thinking about it. I have my reservations about it because this is an old structure. I'm thinking it may be original with the house. It might have been built with the house or not long afterwards because of this cedar shingling business inside here. That's kind of an old school way to do things. Nowadays they'll just use all plyboard and stuff because it's much cheaper. But so that's the plan for today. Try and get the back wall up with those pieces there, and fill in any gap with either that chunk of the door or the door that was on the shed here, or that piece back there. But I really want to use that piece for between the wire cages. There will be a plank at an angle for their poop and pee to roll off of. So I'm going to do that. I also, you can see here, I put in a little moisture barrier. This is actually, I'm not even looking at it. This is, I don't know, molding for bathrooms and showers or something like that. I got it at the, it goes around the bottom of your tub or something. I got it at the Restore, but it's just rubber stuff, and I just kind of wedged it in down there at the bottom around that stuff, and I put one on the inside and on the outside. Oh, excuse me. And I'm going to get some cement, I think, some concrete, and kind of just fill in that space. I don't know, maybe I won't do that. Maybe that's not necessary. I was going to fill it in to try and create an extra moisture barrier, but I think that may do. And then the plywood or whatever, the wall is going to go in front of that. So, oh, and also I have some flashing that I need to get up under the edge of the shingles here. There it is right there, to help prevent moisture getting onto that roof wood. You can see it has a little bit already. But so that's the plan for today. Get the back wall up, get this I-beam or whatever, not I-beam, but beam support hooked into that. I'll be able to reuse this 2x4 because it's nice and stout. This one not so much, it's real cracked right here in the middle. Yeah. Oh, and I'll get rid of this bench here too, because that's just going to be in the way. Yeah, so let's play and get the back wall up, get the front shirt up, and maybe start on the foundation for right here for my little box that's going to have the feed in it. So that's day one. You can see my patchwork of trying to shore up that back wall. There was some of these horizontal supports were missing. You can see right here where there used to be one. They're all just nailed in, mangled, and crap. And there was a couple of them missing right here. So I decided to just put a bunch of different supports in different places. This may not be the the most best way to do things, I don't know. I just put a bunch of supports in different places to make this back wall as sturdy as possible, since this front wall's not going to have much to it. I may put in a 2x4 along each corner back here as well, going up and down, and then maybe one run just straight across to the stud pack that'll be over here, and screw those together, and that will create further stability and rigidity between the front and back of the structure. So there you go. I know I've said it like 4 times already, but that's the plan for today. We'll see how much actually gets accomplished. It's almost never as much as you want to get accomplished in one day. So this is a project in the works. It's going to take me several days, but I think it's going to be awesome when it's done. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.